Mark chapter 15 verses 1 to 5. Immediately in the morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council. And they bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him to Pilate. Then Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He answered and said to him, "It is as you say." And the chief priests accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. Then Pilate asked him again, saying, "Do you answer nothing? See how many things they testify against you?" But Jesus still answered nothing, so that Pilate marveled. In the early hours of the morning, the chief priests held a meeting to legally ratify the sentence of death for Jesus. However, as the Roman governor was the only one who had the authority to execute the capital punishment, the priests now had to present Jesus before him. Pontius Pilate was the governor of the province of Samaria and Judea at the time. Throughout his reign from AD 26 to 36, he normally stayed in Caesarea on the Mediterranean Sea, as it was the custom. But during the Passover, the chance of political unrest were high, and he traveled to Jerusalem to maintain order. While there, his official residence was a praetorium. The first trial usually began right after sunrise, so the priests took Jesus to Pilate very early in the morning. They probably wanted his case to be the first of the day. However, they did not enter the palace because they wanted to remain ceremonially clean so that they could participate in the Passover feast. In their blindness, they did not see that murderous hatred had defiled their hearts. Pilate asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus affirmed this and explained the character of his kingdom, but kept silent when faced with accusations as he had done in the house of the high priest. Pilate marveled. It was unlikely he had ever seen anyone like Jesus, a condemned man with no sign of guilt or fear and no brash or defiant behavior. Instead, he saw a man of calm and dignified bearing, whose countenance bore not the marks of a criminal, but the signature of heaven. The governor's thoughts were in turmoil. He had the opportunity to accept Jesus and be saved. God had even given him a warning by speaking to his wife in a dream. What grace! Even in his final moments, Jesus was focused on his mission of saving the lost. Sadly, Pilate's sense of amazement did not lead him to faith. Though both the high priest and Pilate rejected Jesus, it is still good to notice a difference in their response to him. When the high priest heard Jesus confirm his divine identity, he tore his clothing and pronounced a sentence of death upon him. But when Pilate heard the same proclamation, it shook him to the core. The leader with the greatest religious authority was more hard-hearted than the Gentile governor. Knowing God but not following Him is more dangerous than not knowing God at all. Contrary to the teachings of Scripture, the high priests and the other leaders used religion to feed themselves. They used God's name as a convenient way to fulfill their own sinful desires. Am I serving God and following Him? Or do I redesign God into what I want Him to be, to fit my desires and ambitions? May God bless you and enable you to know Him as His written word describes Him, and follow Him as His written word commands.